Well, was it just my imagination, or did I turn on a Blazer game last night and see a young guard hunting shots, looking confident, competent on the defensive end, in a contract year?
Oh, the temptations of a general manager to not get on the phone with an agent and say, here's $100 million, buddy.
Lock him up now. Look, a handful of takeaways from the game last night.
You have a handful, huh?
I do. I actually do. I told you I was going to watch this game last night. The Dodger-Philly game kind of sucked.
I had one.
Only one takeaway?
Only one.
Okay.
I didn't watch the entire first half.
Okay.
I missed it because of practice, but I final couple minutes of the first half and then the third quarter.
Well, let's start with the positive. The positive had to have been Shaedon Sharpe, who was in the starting lineup last night. They brought Denny Avdia off the bench, so your starting lineup was Drew Holiday, first starting lineup of the year, preseason. Drew Holiday.
Well, we were told not to put too much stock.
They're just trying.
Chance is mixing and matching and trying things.
Pieces are moving. You had Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, Tumani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, and Donovan Clingan. It's game one, preseason game one starting lineup.
Yes.
I mean, look, the biggest takeaway of the game had to have been Shaedon Sharpe, who looked confident, he looked aggressive, and a guy who we've talked about because he's in a contract year and in a big prove-it spot for them, and they might be bringing him off the bench, which we sure we want to do.
Not if he plays like that.
Looked awesome last night.
Oh, yeah, they will.
That would be criminal.
Oh, yeah, they will. Make him earn it.
Criminal.
Earn it.
Make him earn it.
Earn it.
Earn it.
What have you done?
Exactly. Jeremy Grant earned his starting spot last night.
Jeremy Grant has a gold medal. By the way, do people remember that? Or is that one of those like, oh, my God, he was on one of those teams?
I had no clue he was on one of those teams. What team? What Olympic team?
I think it was the COVID one, the 2020.
He was on that team?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it. Okay. Is that why we gave him an $800 million contract?
Well, it wasn't $800 million.
When we knew Damian Lillard was walking? Is that why we did that? Look, I was the one trying to be positive here, and you're the one that has dug me down to the depths, okay?
Yeah, he was on the 2020 Tokyo Olympic team.
He was on the Olympic team.
No, here's the thing. For me, I don't know what a handful of stuff for you is. The lineup's going to change, and he's going to have a game where Shaedon doesn't start, and it's going to go back and forth on all these. Dude, I don't know, and I didn't see as much as you guys saw, right? I was catching up. I was seeing the box score because I couldn't
right out of
watch
the gate. He had 20 points in the first half, Shaedon Sharpe did.
20 in the first half. I think he finished the game with 22, correct?
22. He played
one shift in the third quarter.
He hung around about mid-third quarter-ish point.
Quarter.
Dude, I saw a guy, and again, preseason, so we're not done.
Dude, dive in. Don't be scared.
Well, if he didn't play well, there'd be people diving in about how awful he was. And
that's why you don't give him $90 million.
So, yeah, I'm going to dive in a little bit and say I just saw a player that, one, was allowed to kind of operate more in what his game flow is. Like, we want to talk about the new offense. That's kind of something I'm interested in is, one, what is the offense? How is it going to look?
Ant's not dominating the ball anymore? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they gave him the ball, and they let him dribble a little bit, and he found his mid-range points, and he was able to attack and be aggressive, found some guys. Like, I just liked what I saw. Looked like a confident player ready to say, I'm going to go prove this year. Now, again, it's preseason game one, but...
Sure, 4 of 8 from 3 helps, too, for a guy who had question marks about shooting.
You can't poo-poo it because it's preseason, and then in the same vein say if he doesn't play well, it's concerning. You think you'd bring it preseason game one. So I'm going to give him the credit and say I really liked what I saw, and if he's going to be able to operate this way, I'd love to see him take advantage and be 50% from the field and 50% from 3. But if he is going to take advantage and hit those shots, there's not a doubt in my mind you give him a contract. You have no choice at that point.
He's 21 years old, yeah.
I think he's 22. But
22,
it's great to see that start of the season for him to come out and be aggressive, hunt those shots, use his handle a little bit. I thought Lamar brought up a good point, man. Is operating with a confident handle and getting to the spots that he wants to shoot from. So that was my only takeaway. I know what your guys are going to be, but I didn't really have much else because I didn't have a lot of other questions or things I'm looking to, and that was great to watch, to see him operate that way.
Swag, your takeaway from last night?
Tumani knocking down wide-open threes in the first quarter was great. If he does that, he took the shots when the ball came to him and he knew he was open and he stepped into it and knocked him down. I don't want him forcing him, that sort of thing. He did have the one where he was jab stepping, I think, in the second quarter.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God, if he hits that, look out. but he knocked down open ones. I hope Drew Holiday's just early season because he couldn't make anything. And if he's the starting point guard, he's got to be able to at least hit a little 8-step inside the 3 and knock that down and be respected. Otherwise, nobody's going to guard him. They're going to sag and clog the middle. Do I read anything into Clingan playing 11 minutes, or is that because Golden State doesn't have a real center?
Yeah, I mean, the other part of this is
they had
preseason,
Horford and Post and whoever.
Yeah.
So
It's not a traditional center.
and I'm saying,
game.
do I read anything into that, or is that a lineup thing? Because there really wasn't anybody for him to guard.
No.
And yeah, until they get some dudes back who like Scoot and whoever else isn't going to start, I think it's going to be a short rotation because that bench there's nobody there that should be seeing the floor.
Yeah, Klingon in the next one is.
What do we make of Young Hansen in his debut?
About what I expected.
He's a project.
He's
so
gonna
he's going to be
take
back
time.
and forth to the remix. He's not used to.
Oh, you think he's going to be back and forth?
I think they want him to get minutes because I think he's got to get used.
He's
He's got to get
minutes.
used to the officiating.
Rob's
he's not
not
used to
playing.
the officiating.
He's
He's
going to play
gonna get
Dwop
minutes.
instead?
They're going to get him early, but he's going to be in foul trouble constantly.
He had 6 fouls last night in 21 minutes.
Exactly.
He's a rookie, right? I mean,
That happens. Remember Greg Oden?
He's not going to get the whistle to start with, so that he's got to get used to. And the game's still moving a little fast for him.
Donovan's 11 minutes. I don't know what to make of that. It's game 1 of the preseason. But like Friday's interesting. Like if it's a minutes thing with him, and to my knowledge, I think he's playing. If Sabonis is playing, I want to see Donovan.
Yeah, let's get 25, 30 minutes out there on Friday night.
Yeah.
Why not? A lot of these other guys did. Yeah, I think the biggest question we all had coming into the year was, where's the offense going to come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the $1 million question for this team. We'll get to. I want to talk about there's a win-loss projection out there for him from somebody, or for the Blazers, from somebody that we respect in the NBA world, and I want to tell you what his projection is and ask how we would feel about that and if we agree.
We'll get him on after vacation. By the way,
Yes.
I reached out to him. So.
We know they're good. We know they're good defensively. That is well talked about, well documented. How good, that's to be debated. But we know they're going to be good defensively. We don't know where the offense is going to come from. That's why the Sharpe stuff was a nice sight of like, all right, he's handling
He's
the
a
rock.
bucket guy.
He's not standing in the corner. It's not Anthony Simons dribble. It's just I really enjoyed watching that.
It's an underrated part, Dirt, is the
Dude,
whole like
free
standing
him
in the
up.
corner. Scoot bitched about that
Yes.
last year. Like, why am I standing in
Get
a
him
corner?
involved. These are the guys you use top 10 picks on. Anthony Simons' time was done. I'm so much more in now without him on the roster. I can't even tell you. You mentioned the Tumani part. Like, that's the other aspect of offense, is what can his offensive game turn into this year and what is the ceiling on him. So game 1, it was really good to see.
Mm-hmm.
The only other takeaway that I had is there's just a weird thing going on right now with this guy and the way he's answering questions about coming off the bench or not coming off the bench. God forbid we bring him off the bench. Jeremy Grant was dog-ass last night, and he was terrible last year. It's game 1 of the preseason. I know.
2 of 11, though.
I'm not rushing to a conclusion. He was awful
If there's
in that
one
game.
guy that you just
But we're
want
paying him $150 million, so we have to have him in the starting lineup.
know.
Like, the only thought I had watching that game last night is I'm trying to be more optimistic and positive because Jody's finally on her way out. I'm very excited about Tom Dundon. They made moves in the offseason that I supported. Anthony Simons' time to go was now, and they finally pulled the trigger on that.
Ayton, bye-bye.
DeAndre Ayton was just a walking, empty stat sheet, and I'm excited to see him not on the team anymore. If you have Jeremy Grant in your starting lineup and Shaedon Sharpe's coming off the bench, I'm going to have a really hard time with that because you cannot tell me earn it when this guy's not elite defensively anymore. He's doing nothing to help you on the offensive end, and you're just starting him because he's a veteran who makes a lot of money.
Well, I mean, look, 2 of 11, not a great start to the preseason.
It's game 1 of the
at
preseason.
least,
I get it. We'll see how the rest of the
we
preseason
saw,
goes.
we heard him in the media day of like, I thought I was getting traded, and it's 160.
He's a guy who
by the
doesn't
way.
want to be here anymore.
It's 160, not 150.
Thank you. Thanks for the
You
reminder.
undersold it by $10 million.
Yes, I did. And he went from 2 years ago in Portland, he averaged 21 points per game, 45% shooting, 40% from 3. Last year it was down to 14 points per game. Almost 10% fell off his field goal percentage, and he went from 40% from 3 to 36% from 3.
I mean, I just the whole like prove it and earn it, and I get that that's kind of the rhetoric, but I also find that laughably bad. It's not proving it. It's not earning it. There's a contract veteran guy thing, and that's it, because it's not play. It's not. But Shaedon will get his opportunity. If Shaedon just worries about Shaedon and not, I'm in the lineup, not in the lineup, and he said in the media day, I'll play wherever. You want me to come off the bench? I'll do it.
He's handling it well for
he took
a young guy,
he took a great approach, and 9 of 15 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 6 boards. Like,
Gets the start on the first preseason night and delivered.
He went out and did what he was supposed to do.
And he was engaged defensively. He's still learning. He still got pump faked.
That's
and
not going to be
there.
his strength.
He's
But
never
he
going
was
to be an elite
engaged
defender.
defensively. He wasn't just passive standing there looking around.
Good start for him. Bad start for the Jeremy has to be in the starting lineup crowd, but that'll work itself out throughout the season. Chauncey, you say this about Chauncey, right? You can be somewhat critical of what Chauncey's tenure has been. From a percentage-wise, it's been truly horrific. But I do think Chauncey is flexible and not stubborn to the point where if it's really going to keep going this way, I think he makes a move.
There's no
And maybe I'll
reason
be
and
wrong
no
on
excuse to not to. That's the whole point.
I agree with that, but I think
how long are we going to bang our head against the wall and say this isn't going to change or this is going to look differently when it was awful last year? And again, it's one game. Maybe he goes off for 30 on Friday night against Sacramento, and we're like, hey, there you go, Jeremy Grant, what a game. He looked awful in the first half of that game.
The other question I have,
last night,
they came out, everybody was picking up at midcourt. They did some full court pressure. Can they sustain that level of energy playing at that pace with how short their bench is going to be?
I'm not ready to buy the. By the way, that's always the media day takeaways. We're going to play faster up tempo. Like that was a traditional Stotts thing as well.
Yeah.
I know they want to do some of this stuff. I'm not buying that this is going to be every game Nolan Richardson. I think there's going to be moments in it, like little spurts.
Minutes of hell.
That's
right. But because of the depth issues that you point out, rightfully so, I just don't think you're able to do that as much as you want to.
Until you get Rob Williams and Thibault and Scoop back, you can't do that. You can pick and choose moments. Maybe you're feeling like, hey, we've got a little momentum. Let's go to a press, see if we can take a 6-point lead to a 14-point lead before halftime. Something like that.
Caleb Love. You love Love. You love
Chris
Love
Murray.
last night. All right, that's all the takeaways I have. Game 1 of the preseason was last night. Watched the entire first half, and then I was like, all right, that's enough preseason basketball for me, but some takeaways nonetheless. Fun to talk about.